As our country moves to level 3, swimming schools are only set to open in level 1, and this can have a catastrophic effect and far-reaching effect on the lives of weak and non-swimmers, as well as the Learn to Swim industry. I'm Tori Karg de Almeida, the Learn to Swim teacher rep for KwaZulu-Natal, and I'm joined today by Matt Pike. He is a swimming teacher and swim school owner of Swimmatics and is coordinating and advocating for the reopening of swim schools across South Africa. Welcome, Matt, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, Matt, can you tell us a little bit more about what has driven you to make these petitions for the reopening of swimming schools across the country?
When the lockdown happened, obviously everybody was just like, we need to, some swim schools closed before the lockdown. I tried to push for as long as I could. And then when obviously the president was like, look here guys, we're going into lockdown. I was like, okay, fine, 3 weeks is doable. It's not amazing, but we can make it work. And then it was extended for another 2 weeks. And, it was expected. I don't think anybody thought realistically that 3 weeks was going to be enough. So again, plan for that. I even told my teachers I don't think we'll be going back after 3 weeks. We'll probably go back after 5 weeks, but with restrictions. And then the levels came into place. And I was just like, I don't know how we're going to survive from this if someone doesn't say anything. Because I went through all the documents, I went through everything, and I was like, where are swim schools being mentioned? There's no mention of swim schools. They mention sport, but we're not a sport. And I really believe that we shouldn't be classified as a sport. Swim schools should be classified as a life skills educational, because the kids haven't got to the sport yet. It's like grouping primary school children and high school children in the same category. They're learning completely different things. You can't go and say a grade 1 child and compare it to a matric child. So I think that was my biggest thing. And I was just like, someone needs to say something. So I literally just sat, I was talking, and I was just like, actually, I'm going to do this. And I just started sitting on my laptop and I just typed up this whole petition. And then I was like, okay, cool. Can somebody check this for me, please? Send it to be checked. And I was like, cool. Check the spelling, because I typed this really quickly. And then I was like, I'm going to send it and see what happens from there. The worst thing that could happen is everyone was just like, no, we don't agree with you. Keep quiet.
Absolutely. And well done for actually taking the initiative and stepping up and having a voice for what a lot of swim teachers and swim school owners were really feeling at that time. So that was really taking a step out. So thank you for doing that. So Matt, as you say, you feel very strongly that Learn to Swim schools should be exactly that, considered as a school under education and not under sport. Tell us a little bit more about your feelings with regards to that.
Okay, so my argument on the whole education thing is that basically, if you look, we are called a school, okay, and we're an aquatic school, so we're teaching children the fundamentals of swimming. We're not teaching, yes, they eventually learn to stroke, but we're not sitting and count and doing laps for 2 hours. We're teaching them to bond with their teachers. We're teaching them to learn new skills. We're teaching them to interact with their peers. There's so many. We're doing motor skills. We're doing all those things that are combined in swimming. And I think it's one of the first fears that children do by themselves. It's the first thing they have to do without mom and dad holding their hand, especially if they're a little bit older, because as much as a parent might be in the water in a baby class or in a toddler class, they're still having to do the activity by themselves. The parent can't do it for them. If they're going under, they have to physically blow their bubbles or kick their legs. There can't be something that's forced, or like when a child's learning to eat or something like that, a parent can step in and help. This is a skill that they're actually learning to do completely by themselves. And the reason why it's educational is just because it can save a child's life. There's water, there's so much, we already have so many things in the news now already about children. I think it's 2-3 children that have drowned already in South Africa.
So I actually wanted to bring that up. Do you have any statistics or know what the recent drowning stats are? Especially during this lockdown period. I mean, there's so much, parents are at home, the pools are open, the kiddies are at home, and as we know, it just takes a minute of looking away and a kid can be in the water floating face down. So Yeah, that is really, really something that I don't think people are quite aware of in this lockdown situation, that it really is life-threatening.
And also the thing is that what also people forget is that drowning doesn't mean that you die. And I think that's what, the news only focuses on drowning incidences where a child has died or an adult has drowned. But for every, I can't remember the exact number, but for every child that dies from drowning, so many children are left mentally or physically disabled afterwards because they were found in time to bring them back, but they obviously were in the water too long because it happens so quickly. And most of the time drowning happens when there's an adult around. So that's even scarier. And with parents, we stuck at home now for what, so many days now, it's like 50 something. Parents are getting, anybody becomes a bit relaxed. You've been in this environment for now so long, you just you forget, you're tired, you're sitting on the couch watching TV, next minute your child's wandering around in the garden because they're also bored. And it's just one of those things that the risk by being at home for so long, it just gives your children the opportunity to go catch on nonsense and walk around and do the things they wouldn't normally do because they wouldn't normally have the time to do it. And now they're sitting at home, they're looking for things to do. And then especially if their siblings are involved. I know when we were small, my mom said I was only like 3-4 years old when I taught my 2-year-old brother how to open the bottom latch of the gate and I opened the top latch. So it's the smallest kids, you start becoming a little team and you start doing these things. And if someone wasn't watching, imagine what could have happened. So I think
absolutely, I totally agree with you. And I think this is a good reminder to actually parents, please be extra vigilant over this time.
Yeah, just lock the doors, just keep them away from the pools, keep them away, empty your baths, don't leave buckets lying around because it's just not because you have a pool that your child is at risk. It's toilets, it's buckets of water, it's baths that haven't been emptied. You leave your washing there to soak in the bath and next minute your child's climbing into the bath. So it's all those things now where children aren't normally there when you're doing things like soaking your bedding in the bath to, in bleach or something, and then next minute your child's climbing in the bath. So it's these things that aren't normally, your kids are around at times when they're not normally there. And that's what parents must remember now. They can't do their normal activities, like things like that. And just make sure that they are closing doors if they are doing things like that.
Absolutely. And now, Matt, can you give us an update on your petition? So the petition was for swim schools to open earlier than level 1. And where are things with that, Matt?
It's so frustrating because I feel like I've gotten the media coverage that I needed to get. We were in the Cape August, we've gotten in some local newspaper, we've got on some online publications as well. But as I'm reaching out to different parties, I keep on getting, no, you can't speak to me, you need to speak to this person. No, you need to speak to this person. I can't make this decision, you need to speak to this person. So at the moment, it is frustrating because it doesn't feel like we're going anywhere. I am constantly emailing and asking for updates. I am speaking to Alan from SwimSafe as well and just trying to get updates on that side and really pushing that swim schools, that there is a document or media release is released without the mention of coaches, just swimming schools. I'm really trying to push that there's a clear divide. Nothing against swimming coaches, nothing against competitive swimming. That is something that I feel that can also be done and can also be controlled in its own environment. But I do think that we need to just create a bit of a clearer line between the two because there are different industries and it shouldn't be something that's grouped in together. So I'm just really trying to push on that education of learn to swim. And but at the moment it's upsetting because I can't say that we've gotten very far with it, but I have, at least people are responding to me. And I think that as long as people are responding from government, it's a start, and then hopefully it ends up in the right hands.
Well, absolutely. I think that is a big step forward. And I think a lot of people can take so much from what you have done. Don't sit back, actually have the courage to step forward and stand for something that you believe in. And if you don't have the courage to do that, then actually get behind and support somebody that is taking the lead. So, Matt, I just want to say on behalf of all the swimming teachers and on behalf of KZNA that we really appreciate what you are doing and we do support you in it. So all the best, and we can't wait for lockdown to be over and for us to dive back into our pools and make a big splash and just help everybody to be stronger swimmers and be safe in and around the water.
Definitely. Thank you so much.